SIM database describing reports of multiple SIM registrations with Ghana cards of unsuspecting citizens as unfounded.
Electoral Commission's late May 2 to May 5 for filing of nominations for Kumewu parliamentary by-election.
Also tonight, some school feeding caterers continue to prepare meals for pupils in spite of nationwide strike declaration.
Coming up in business news, Economist warns that the latest downgrade of Ghana's local currency bonds by Fitch could spark further uncertainty in the investor markets.
And elsewhere on the international front, fighting continues in parts of Sudan despite a 72-hour ceasefire largely holding. We've got details of all these stories plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. Let's know what you make of any of our major stories tonight. Just share your views, comments and suggestions with us on Facebook or on Twitter. Now, the National Communications Authority has denied claims of a breach of the country's SIM database in spite of reports of multiple SIM registrations with the Ghana cards of unsuspecting citizens. At a news conference, the Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Joe Anochi, gave an assurance that there's been no unauthorized access.
My other number was having connection issues, so I went to one of their offices to check what was the cause. It was when that I found out that about 5 numbers have been registered with my Ghana card without my knowledge.
These are examples of widespread reports of strange mobile numbers linked to subscribers' Ghana cards amid concerns of identity theft and stolen details of affected persons. Over the past few days, some telco subscribers were shocked when they discovered their Ghana cards had been used to register strange or unknown numbers.
On a constant basis, the industry, the regulator, together with the MNOs, are looking into these things and finding ways in which, these fraudulent practices are dealt with.
These instances, coupled with other reported fraud cases, despite the SIM registration, suggested that the SIM register being built in Ghana had been compromised. However, the NCA says those claims are unfounded.
We wish to assure the general public that the SIM database has not been breached. In the first place, there has been no unauthorized access to the SIM registration database. The identified abuses of stage 1 process, which have been resolved, do not amount to unauthorized access to the SIM registration database.
From May 1, subscribers could use a short code *402*1# to check the numbers of SIMs registered with their Ghana cards and to proceed to delink some.
In the coming days, MNOs will introduce a system to enable subscribers to check the number and details of the SIM registered in their respective names. *402*1#. And if for some reason there's a SIM that is associated with your Ghana card that doesn't belong to you, there's a process that you can follow to get that SIM or SIMs be delinked.
The NCA says service to 11 million mobile phone subscribers will be deactivated by May 31 as the active mass SIM registration comes to a close.
Active mass SIM registration for existing SIMs is coming to a close. 11 million SIMs which are yet to begin the registration process. The subscriber of these unregistered active SIMs have up to 31st May 2023 to complete their SIM registration or have the SIMs deactivated, delinked from the network. Subscribers who do not genuinely have Ghana cards will have to prove that they do not have Ghana cards to prevent SIMs being deactivated.
All right, so let's do some more analysis on the back of this latest press conference by the National Communications Authority. I've been joined on the phone lines by Sam Nate George, who is a Member of Parliament for Ningo Papam, I think. Thank you, sir, for your time. You've heard from the National Communications Authority boss. He talks about no unauthorized access to the data of SIM registration and suggesting that it is consistent with the experiences that we're seeing. What's your own analysis of all that's happened so far?
Well, good evening to your viewers. I believe that I've listened to the NCA, and the NCA is playing the ostrich, to put it lightly, because the NCA cannot tell us that they don't know what constitutes a breach of citizens' or personal data. You have a situation where the data, Ghana card data of citizens has been inappropriately used by assigns of MNOs without the prior approval or permission of the owners of that data. That in itself is a breach. And the system on which this breach happened is systems that were put in place by the NCA for the MNOs. The NCA must be talking to us about what remedial action is going to be taking there. We're not talking about a breach of the subscriber database or anything. We're talking about personal data that has been used fraudulently without the permission or approval of the owners of those data. The NCA is silent on that. The NCA hasn't said anything about that. And that, for me, is problematic.
And with the MNO, you're talking about the mobile network operators, right?
Sorry?
With the MNO, you're talking about mobile network operators?
Yes, mobile network operators.
Right. So
if that has happened, what is the NCA doing about it?
But if these concerns are isolated and do not represent a larger picture, why do we have to take them seriously?
I don't know what you call by isolated. One breach is breach enough for you to take serious look at it. And has anybody done any work to see the extent of this breach? How many people have, what systems, what have they done? What audit has been carried out of the system so far for us to know the number of people who have been affected by this? How many SIM cards how many Ghana cards have been used fraudulently? How many SIM cards have been registered? The NCA doesn't put any of that data available to us.
Some would say Sam George is only crying foul. Sam George, and by extension, the National Democratic Congress, is only crying foul because you've consistently raised concerns about the registration process. And so, I mean, this has come in handy for you, and you're only, crying wolf.
Not at all. We've been speaking to facts, and we spoke about this breach, the possibility of this breach over a year ago in October 2021. We spoke about possible breaches. You understand me? And at that time when we did, they said we were crying wolf. It has come to happen now. So clearly we are speaking from a position of intelligence and knowledge. Again, let me ask you. The NIA has put on record that it is unable to verify the data being captured by the NCA through the MNOs. If that is the case, that it is unable to verify all the Ghana card data that it is using, that it claims it is using to register, is unverified. Nobody knows whose real data it is. So on what basis are they saying to us? On what basis are they saying to us that they are verifying data? They are not verifying the data. This is not different from the first SIM card registration, where the NIA is not able to verify the data that the NCA is collecting through the MNOs. And again, let me just make the point that the hypocrisy of the whole system here is that the Minister for Communication was part of the committee of the whole decision in Parliament that said that we would not accept the ECCI because the ECCI said you would use only the Ghana card for purposes of registration. And the minister was part of it to say that for voting in her constituency, all her potential voters do not have Ghana card. And so for that reason, Parliament is saying that we will not accept the CI in its current form and shape. So for the purposes of her voting for the Minister for Communications, she agrees that the Ghana card is not sufficient enough. Yet when it comes to issues of registering SIM cards, she thinks that that same Ghana card is sufficient enough for the rest of us. It is that hypocrisy and duplicity of policy positions that we are exposing.
Mr. Samjad, I've got to say a big thank you to you for your time and for joining us here on News 360.
In more news tonight, Health Minister Kweku Agyeman-Manu maintains his statement of the National Health Insurance Scheme has been misconstrued to suggest he said the scheme is not working by some persons. The minister, who sought to clarify his statement at a media briefing, described calls for his resignation by some political actors as propaganda.
I even said that co-payments have been banned. We set up health insurance targeting the very poor so that they can have access to health. So if you begin to charge them when you shouldn't charge, you create a barrier against access for the poor. I even went on to say on the long thing that I have health insurance card, but when I go to the facilities, I don't use it. Why? Because I'm in a position where I can pay. So why should I go and compete with the poor patients in the facilities? It takes somebody who wants to do mischief to interpret this to mean that the minister says that it's not working. This is an implied meaning, right? Inferences to what is direct. What I'm saying is that if you do not stop this practice, it will make end users say this. How do you say that? How do you explain that? You are charging when you shouldn't charge. Those that you are charging are getting the feeling that the thing is not working. Meanwhile, that is not the case. And if anything at all, we are paying you small every month. So my admonition to ask them not to charge is being translated to mean that others are seeing it as not working. If it is not working, would they go with their cards to go there to try to even assess the service? No. Then I hear Randiabi is on air. The minister should resign. He says he hasn't got health insurance card. He doesn't use health insurance. Health insurance is not working. And an elderly, respectable state person like former President John Mahama, you go on this lane into the gutter with in the gallery, doing propaganda against the health minister that I should resign. That's called for any resignation. I came to work for the nation. I think I've done what any health minister could have done. But if you don't appreciate my work, don't destroy me unnecessarily.
Let's now listen to the Health Minister's earlier comment about the National Health Insurance Scheme.
But we also have challenges. From the end user point of view, it looks like health insurance is not working in our country at the moment. I'm a patient and I know what it is. And I interact with a lot of people, not only my constituency, not only my region, but elsewhere. And the complaints that are coming about how those who are subscribed to health insurance are treated in almost all our facilities. To the extent that even CS, some are paying more than 1,000 cedis from their pockets in quite a number of our facilities now, when that is on the health insurance benefit package list. And it's a sad thing. Those of us like you can afford. So health insurance was not done because of us. I mean, those of us, the middle class. But the very core poor people. But the poor woman in that village down there. It's a very sad situation. A plea is that, yes, health insurance delays payments, but of late, they are paying small. Let me use that phrase. Small. So why should I use that harsh word? Extort from the poor patients. You understand what catastrophic expenditures are. So we need strategies. not from the DG alone, not from anybody in the ministry headquarters, but how we can get cheaper implants to supply for people to use so that they get out of these challenges. So we need your help. Help in terms of how you can make access cheaper so that we save ourselves the little money we can keep on ourselves to take care of ourselves.
So our cherished viewers, you heard the minister, you heard him for yourself. Make your own judgment. Let's know what you make of the minister's comment. Go to our Facebook or Instagram or Twitter page and let's know what you make of the minister's own comments. Now, caterers in charge of the school feeding program have declared a nationwide strike. Leaders of the caterers say members are not returning to the kitchen until government responds to their concerns.
The caterers have been off duty pressing home settlement of arrears and an upward adjustment of the feeding grant from 97 pesos to 3 cedis per pupil.
School feeding caterers are public servants like teachers, police, doctors, nurses and other employees that provide state services to the public but are being discriminated against.
A member of the association, Dorothy Sapong, says their predicament is having a toll on their livelihood.
Central region people here, we have Greater Accra, we have Volta region, we have some of them from northern regions, and then in the eastern region, they are all here. All the representatives came, so we are collectively the whole Ghana. We cannot go and borrow to come and cook for the children for free. We are fed up. We want our money.
But some caterers under the school feeding program in Accra are still providing meals for pupils. They tell TV3 they are yet to receive any communication on the strike from their executives. Grace Hamajiman was at the Kanda class of schools and reports.
At the time when the news team got to the Kanda cluster of schools, the only meal for the day, which is usually served at 10 a.m., had already been given out, and the students confirmed they received wache and beans from these caterers who have always been on site since school resumed.
They gave us food today. They gave us beans.
Imalad and her sister are among 6 school feeding caterers who provide meals to more than 600 pupils at the Kanda cluster of schools. She tells me they have been working since school resumed from the Easter break.
We are always on duty.
How long?
Since school was open, we have been coming and we serve the children. All right.
Halima confirms non-payment of the allowances is a major setback.
There are challenges in this work, but sometimes the pay will delay, but sometimes too, it's come at its normal time, but it's all the same. It's good.
They are yet to receive any directive to stop cooking.
No one has told us to stop cooking.
It appears the directive for the caterers to hold on cooking hasn't reached every part of the country. But for these students who depend on these meals, they hope the matter is resolved in the nearest possible time so they can keep enjoying their meals. Grace Hamwa Ajiman, TV3 News, Kanda, Accra.
Let's speak to Dr. Clement Apak. He is Deputy Ranking Member of the Education Committee of Parliament. Thank you so much for your time, Doc. There's been this back and forth with the school feeding program. What briefing have you had on this particular incident?
Well, Portia, let me say good evening to you and good evening to viewers. I think this is most unfortunate, and it is truly unconscionable because the school feeding program is designated as a government flagship program. If you were to look at the 2023 budget on page 229, there is an appendix, appendix 6, item 4. The amount allocated to the program is 969,000 Ghana cedis. So why is it that government is failing to pay the caterers their arrears and failing to increase the fee per people from that pitiful 97 Ghana cedis? Quite honestly, what decent food can anyone in this economy prepare for 97 Ghana cities? So the issue clearly to some of us is as a result of misplaced priorities. Yes, we may be experiencing an economic crunch as a result of recklessness, corruption, and mismanagement. But any nation that is worth its salt in times like this should be investing the meager resources left in important intervention programs like the school feeding program. This government clearly is not interested in that because there is no reason why government should be maintaining multiple deputy CEOs for government agencies, maintaining secretariats like the Free High School Secretariat with the staff, where we have the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service. In fact, maintaining deputy ambassadors when we cannot find money to do the needful, even though those monies have been approved by Parliament. So it's a misplaced priority by the government, and we ought to be calling government out.
Okay, so Doc, what's the way forward? We cannot come back on air and discuss this because it won't surprise you that we'll come back again with these caterers going on strike. What is your committee doing about this?
Well, the school feeding program, in terms of the current status quo, is housed under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. But once it is a program that is supposed to increase enrollment and to maintain the numbers in school, clearly my committee has an interest in it. So we have been working with the primary committee responsible. We have filed a lot of questions on this issue. And anytime the sector minister comes to respond, it is always we are waiting for funds to be released by the finance ministry. So ultimately, it is President Akufo-Addo and his government, the executive, they are the reason why this situation is with us. And we have to simply call them up. That's the only solution.
Thank you so much for your time. And Dr. Clement Apaak is Deputy Ranking Member of the Education Committee of Parliament.
Now to another big story that broke out today. President Akufo-Addo has nominated Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokonu as a Justice of the Supreme Court, who is a Justice of the Supreme Court, I beg your pardon, as a new Chief Justice. She takes over from Justice Kwesi Enin-Yeboah, who retires next month. Justice Tokonu, if confirmed by Parliament, will become the third female Chief Justice in Ghana's history.
President Akufo-Addo, in a letter to the chairman of the Council of State, indicated that Justice Gertrude Tokonu, who has been a member of the judiciary for the last 19 years, is qualified and fit to discharge the functions of a Chief Justice. Born in Winneba in the Central Region on 11th September 1962, she attended Wesley Girls Senior High School for her O-level and Achimota School for her A-level certificate. She is an alumnus of the University of Ghana and graduated from the Ghana School of Law in 1986. In 2001, she obtained a postgraduate diploma in International Law and Organization from the International Institute of Social Studies. In 2011, she graduated from the Golden Gate University, USA, with an LLM in Intellectual Property Law. Justice Tokonu was nominated to the Supreme Court of Ghana in November 2019 and sworn into office in December 2019. During her vetting, she shared her views on many subjects, including corruption.
I see different strains of behavior that fall into corruption. There are those that are purely criminal. Then there are those that are ethical. You are very right that everybody is pointing to the next person. So it's prevalent social behavior, and we all have to discuss it and accept that it's not helpful.
And whether judges should still be wearing wigs.
Many people find it difficult to recognize a judge when your wig is off. So it's good it's a good disguise. But I do agree with you that when there's no air condition, when the air is not blowing properly, it's a a difficult position to be in, wearing wig and gown and bib. I wish we could even wear African print rather than black suits.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations to her.
In more news tonight, the Electoral Commission has slated May 2 to May 5 for the filing of nominations for the Kumewu parliamentary by-election, urging aspirants to ensure they have all the requisite documents to back their eligibility. William Evans-Nkum has come through with this report.
Article 94 of Ghana's Constitution spells out qualification and eligibility for the parliamentary election. On May 23, all eyes will be on Kumewu as a total of 34,481 voters from 75 polling stations are expected to vote and replace the late former MP, Philip Basua, who died on March 27 this year. Already, 4 political parties, namely the ruling NPP, NDC, CPP, and an independent candidate have all announced their readiness to battle for the seats. Ashanti Regional Director of the EC, Benjamin Banobio, cautioned candidates to ensure they have requisite proof to support their eligibility.
The law is clear on that. A candidate, anyone who wants to contest, should be a registered voter. It is not limited to the constituency, but should be a registered voter in the country. Then, you should either hail from that place or have stayed there for not less than 2 years preceding the last general election. And so, you may hail from that place, you may have stayed there for that period of time, then you qualify to contest there. But you must also be a registered voter. And we'll go through all these things to find out.
Some 300 people have been recruited by the EC for the polls. Filing of nominations begins from May 2 to May 5.
The government has reduced its tree planting target from 20 million to 10 million this year. There's been a decline in the tree survival rate from 80% in 2021 to 72% last year.
According to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Samuel Abujinapo, several factors accounted for government's failure to meet last year's target.
Last year, we raised our ambition and targeted at least 20 million trees. Again, you supported us, and over 24 million trees were planted, bringing the total number of trees planted over the years to in excess of 30 million trees. So far, field assessment report shows that, on the average, we had 72% survival rate last year, as compared to 81% in 2021.
Green Ghana Day will help create ample time for the nurturing of the already planted trees.
While adequate measures were put in place to ensure the survival of all trees planted, a number of external factors accounted for the survival rate, including rainfall patterns, wildfires, and soil fertility. Nonetheless, the survival rate shows that we still have some 23 million trees to nurture. It is for this reason that this year, government has decided to revise our target downwards to 10 million trees. This will give us space to devote some resources and attention to the trees planted over the last 2 years, while not losing momentum on our quest to restore our degraded landscape.
Last year, over 20 million trees were planted, bringing the total number of trees planted to over 30 million trees.
Renowned evangelist Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete has condemned the alarming rate of corruption and illegal mining in the country, calling for a collective effort, change of attitude and God's intervention. He admonished leaders to desist from seeking their selfish interest, but rather the well-being of Ghanaians. He made the observation at the launch of this year's National Prayer and Healing Rally on the theme, "This Nonsense Must Stop."
As a people, we cannot live in denial that there are many forms of nonsense today confronting our health, our family homes, our politics, our churches, our institutions, our workplaces, and certainly the various communities in which we live in. That certainly must stop. In order for our nation to succeed, wrong must be seen as wrong, and right must be seen as right. Corruption must not be condoned by any level of our society. And whether we like it or not, today, Ghana, people are not honest, and corruption seems to have permeated into the rank and file of our community. We should not also forget that we have a collective responsibility to stop galamsey. And stopping galamsey has nothing to do with government alone. It has to do with us too, the communities, political leaders, security services, our traditional rulers, our services, and indeed every Ghanaian has the right to stop this menace of galamsey that has destroyed our water bodies.
A reminder is to watch News 360. This is our major news bulletin for the day. We're going to go for a short break. When we return, we've got the very latest in the world of business.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Pascal's showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that the wells can store many, many messages. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded your contact center yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
You need to ask yourself, where do you want to go? No matter who you are. Trust yourself. Dream big. Break the rules, not the laws. Keep pushing. Everything is possible. Trust yourself. Life is about confidence. Africa, it's your time.
Son, live with confidence.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder.
Why rent when you can buy 3-bedroom affordable luxury homes from Selma Court, located at Tema Community 25, and start earning up to 15% rental income per annum? After project completion, you will also enjoy a secured gated community living at Selma Court with facilities such as electricity, 24-hour security, high-borne water, shopping center with gym and fitness center, as well as asphalted inner roads. Just reserve yours now with only $5,000 today and spread the balance within 2 years to break the rental cycle. You can move in after 70% deposit. Call us now on 0249 399 932 or visit our website on www.selmacourtghana.com. Selma Court, live your true comfort.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Now, an economist at the University of Professional Studies, Dr. Jabril Mohammed, is warning Ghana's latest downgrade by Fitch could spark further uncertainties in the investor market. International ratings agency Fitch has downgraded Ghana's sovereign debt to restrictive default on account of missed payments on some of the local currency bonds issued prior to the domestic debt exchange. While speaking to 3 Business, Dr. Jabril said the implications are dire for government if remedial measures are not sought.
What it essentially means is that if the government is failing to make this particular payment, then it's actually going to have a serious impact on its future borrowing. That is essentially what it means. It's going to be very difficult, even for the government to raise domestic treasury bills, because you are defaulting. And look at the inflation rate, even though it's declining currently, but it's likely to also go up as a result of these defaults, because this is going to have an impact on our currency. Your local bonds, you cannot even honor it. What more about your international bonds? If you look at the rating, the argument is that some of the foreign bonds are likely also to be defaulted at the end of the day. So we are in a very difficult situation.
It's been a pretty busy week for banks in the country, as most of them have already started publishing their financials. A cursory glance of the financial performance of some banks indicates very steep losses in their profits. 3 Business has been analyzing some results. Nigeria's biggest bank by market value, Guarantee Trust Holding Company, will slow down lending and bond trading in Ghana, following a 77 million cedi loss. According to Bloomberg, GT will rather focus on activities in Nigeria and other high-yielding African markets to boost lending by 15% in 2023. It will therefore expand credit by not more than 5% in Ghana and limit itself to treasury bills for securities investments. Republic Bank registered a loss of 66.8 million cedis in 2022. It posted a net interest income of 370.6 million cedis, but a 237 million cedi loss on financial assets and other costs trigger the loss. Again, GCB lost 568 million cedis in 2022, despite recording a net interest income of 2.09 billion cedis. Standard Chartered Bank is also one of them, as it recorded a loss of 66.4 million cedis in 2022, compared to a profit of 410.8 million cedis in 2021. This is despite recording a staggering 807.7 million cedis in interest income in 2022. Dr. Abwaji Deborah is a banking consultant.
It's of about, or stability fund of about 15 billion to be able to support, to make sure the market is liquid. So that's one. Besides that, in terms of solvency, I think there are a lot of regulatory measures that the central bank has put in place. Forbearances that will ensure that the market is always guaranteed by the central bank. That in itself gives some assurance and confidence on the market. The third one is where the effort being done by the Minister of Finance in terms of trying to close the deal with the lenders. So if the IMF deal is able to close by the mid of May, the likelihood is that these 3 things with the IMF one will improve the reserves.
Elsewhere, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has called on businesses in Austria to consider investing in Ghana's oil and gas industry. At a Ghana-Austria Business Forum in Accra, he further implored Austrian businesses to capitalize on opportunities offered under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, recounted how COVID-19 disrupted global supply chains and entreated Austrian businesses to strengthen trade collaboration with Ghanaian businesses.
We see partnerships in ICT, sustainable finance, forestry, renewables, education and the knowledge economy, healthcare, and linkages established during this mission will act as the catalyst for the collective green shoots of recovery we both yearn, fostering enhanced opportunity, openness, and optimism that will underpin our future relationships.
The Federal Chancellor of Austria in Ghana, Karl Nehammer, emphasized on investing in agriculture and telecommunications.
A partnership of equals for a mutually beneficial and thriving future. And in this sense, Austria is currently working on a genuine Africa strategy, and we are keen on receiving your advice and input for such a strategy.
The two countries, through a public-private partnership agreement, signed a memorandum of understanding to invest over 30 million euros in rice production, which in turn would provide more than 4,000 direct jobs in the country.
Elsewhere, Bell Park Paper Tissues, owned by Blow Group and producers of Bell Aqua and Bell Beverages, has signed Nanama McBrown as its brand ambassador.
The actress cum media personality was unveiled at the Tema branch of the company and was taking on a tour of the facility. She told the media she was delighted about her new role.
Us coming here, we have witnessed the machines, the hygienic way of producing all the tissues that we have. The toilet tissues, the kitchen towels, the kitchen napkins, and the face pocket tissues as well. That one we use for our faces. So we all feel and see, and like I gave everybody one to feel it.
Head of marketing of Blow Group, Magnus Day, expressed delight on her selection.
Our tissue brand represents care. Anyone who uses tissue knows that it's a product of care. And McBrown is someone who is always out there with her foundation, giving to the poor, helping younger people, encouraging them to grow. She's a symbol of care, empathy, and when needed, sympathy. So we thought that she's the best person to represent the brand, to show care and love to the Ghanaian community.
The company later donated items to the Kpung District Hospital and the Tema SOS Children's Village.
Congratulations to Nanama McBrown. That's how she pronounces it. Well, that's all for the very latest in the world of business. For more business news stories, do also visit our website. It's www.3news.com. Thierry Nyan will join us shortly for the very latest in the world of sports.
Pascal's showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that the wells can store many, many messages. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded your contact center yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
This is the breaking news. About 2,500 people 2,500 people have been.
We'll be right back after a commercial break.
When stubborn coughs, colds, and catarrh interrupt your life, get fast relief with Stop Cough. The Stop Cough range is suitable for adults, children, and babies.
In today's breaking news, Alex is back and...
There is a Stop Cough for every cough and for everyone.
There surely is.
Ask your pharmacist about the right Stop Cough for you. The Stop Cough range is manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You people, you are not hungry, eh?
We are, Oma. We'll be there soon.
Go. Oh, why are you so upset? Oh.
Babe, please calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. But you. Have you seen this red light? Oh, this red light is wicked. Oh, you are telling me to calm down.
Don't let hunger slow your veil. Chalk it with the great tasting Royal King Cracker, made with butter and fortified wheat flour to keep you going with your burger level intact. Royal King Cracker, take chalk your hunger. This advert is FDA approved.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
Thierry Nyan is here for the latest in the world of sport news, and you have updates from our league.
Yes, actually, first from the English Premier League, because the big one is happening, first versus second, and it's Manchester City leading Arsenal going into the half-time break. And it's Kevin De Bruyne who got that particular goal for the Etihad club. But we'll wait to see what happens, and we'll bring you updates subsequently right here on TV3. If you're a Chelsea fan, look away, because Brentford are leading Chelsea at Stamford Bridge by a goal to nil. We'll bring you more on the Premier League subsequently. But what about the Ghana Premier League? And Hearts of Oak were in action earlier today in the Ghana Premier League, and it was midweek action, as Tamale City dented Hearts of Oak's title hopes. Now, a first half brace by Samson Eduku propelled the Tamale Bay side to a 4-1 victory.
Behind Eduku goes round his marker, still has the opportunity. Eduku goes round past 2, past 3, and he scores! Threatening into the 18-yard box. There's a slight push from behind. The referee has pointed to the spot. Will Nana save the day? Offside with that long pass. Goalkeeper comes out, plays the last man standing. Nearly gave the ball away. He's put Caleb under pressure. Tamale City! Ali Mohammed, stumbling block. And they gift Hearts of Oak with a chance, an opportunity. Isaac. Fired from behind, and Accra Hearts of Oak pull 1 goal back. And the advantage and the heat is on for Tamale City. Drilled into the 18-yard box. Oh! That is the icing on the cake. That is the icing on the cake.
The action there in the Ghana Premier League, and Hearts of Oak suffering a humiliating win away from home. Now, with 6 games to go till the end of the season, both Hearts of Oak and Tamale City will be fighting at different sides of the table. Let's now hear from both coaches after the surprising result earlier today.
The game still goes on. We don't know what may happen at the later part of the season. We just keep our focus, we concentrate. Whatever will be as an error that we weren't able to adapt to, we'll go back home to fix all those errors.
From Division 1, knowing very well that the difference between Division 1 and the Premier is vast. So that's why we struggled in the first round. We have some experienced players, those who have experienced the Premiership before, tap their experiences, and then that's exactly what we are seeing now. I was certain about that, knowing what my boys can do, and exactly that's what we are doing.
But there is more later tonight on GPL Express as we go all the way to the Bono region to tell you the story of Nsotreman's season so far. Their head coach, Mumuni Abubakar, reveals why his side are stronger at home.
Winning bonuses. Sometimes, even after winning the match, before you come out of the stadium, this nice edifice, your winning bonus is paid. It's not about spending days waiting for your winning bonus. Believe you me, our match against Accra Hearts of Oak, each player, as we speak now, pocketed $200. Some people might think I'm exaggerating, but that is a reality on the ground. Yes, they were motivated before the match. I said, win for this. Though we didn't win, they said, take the money. Yes.
And that'll be all for the sports here on News 360. My name is Thierry Nyan. We'll bring you some more sports subsequently right here on TV3. The news continues with entertainment with Anita Ekufu. Don't go anywhere.
What makes a gentleman? It's how the need to protect the things that matter pushes him to persevere. It's how he immerses himself in thoughtfulness. It's how trust is his shield. You can smell his integrity from a mile away. Introducing the Gentleman's Cosmetic Range. Be one of us. Be a gentleman. Ye Abrantier.
OneXBet. Reliable bookmaker with high odds. Wide selection on events. And bonuses for every taste. OneXBet. Easy use, easy win.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, it's time now for the very latest in entertainment. Anita Ekufu has just joined us. With the very latest, Anita, and you've got some stories on the VGMAs?
Yes, and so of course, in a couple of days, we find out who is the ultimate winner for the unsung category. But we've been going back to some of the previous winners and see how life has been after winning the category.
Tell us about it.
All right, my name is Anita Ekufu, and 2019 VGMA Unsung Artist of the Year Kula has advised unsung nominees not to sit on their odds after winning the award. In a yet-to-be-aired Unsung Hall of Fame documentary powered by 3 Entertainment, the artist has been sharing his experience on winning the category 4 years ago.
For many years, I was trying to get at least the unsung category nomination. I think I tried 2 years before my time and I didn't get nominated. And even though it didn't happen for me back then, I was still trying the normal procedure of having people tag you and stuff like that. So I wasn't really expecting it, but I was just hopeful.
Introduced in 2014, the VGMA Unsung category is an initiative to project artists who are yet to hit their breakthrough. Some nominees and winners of the category have grown to become A-listers, churning out major hits to thrill music lovers.
When I got the call from Charterhouse to come for the launch and that I've been nominated, it was crazy for me. I remember I was in the studio, but we were playing FIFA. Then the call came through and we had to pause and jubilate. I shouted, "Let's go!" What's happening? I said, "Yo, we got it. We got what? VGMA Unsung nomination. Let's go."
After finally getting the nod in 2019, Kula, born Frederick Amegbe, said his musical career saw an improvement after the win.
Things changed for me after winning the VGMA Unsung. After performing on that stage in front of the whole Ghana, a lot of eyeballs came my way. A lot of people noticed me. Those who didn't know me knew me. So it was easy to speak to certain people, easy to reach out to certain people, easy to enter certain places. So that was an upward rise in my career. And after that 1 year period, things kind of stabilized. It wasn't.
With less than 2 weeks to the biggest night on the music calendar, the 2019 Unsung winner has got a message for this year's nominees.
The VGMA Unsung category gives you a lot of attention. It's up to you to do something with it. A lot of people have the notion that once you win, you blow. And that's one thing I would like to take out of people's minds, because you winning the award doesn't mean you are next to blow or you will blow.
And still in entertainment, veteran Ghanaian gospel musician Diana Hobson is positive that teaching children about intellectual property rights at an early age will help protect Ghana's creative minds and works. Speaking at an event to mark Intellectual Property Day in Ghana, she also opened up on how the copyright laws have protected her and many others in the music space. Celebrated on the 26th of April every year, the World Intellectual Property Campaign offers a unique opportunity to celebrate inventors and creators and expose how intellectual property contributes to a thriving music, arts, and technological innovation industry. From product exhibitions to IP clinics and conference, Ghana also joined the world to mark the all-important day at the National Theatre. Veteran Ghanaian gospel musician Diana Hobson shared how the copyright laws have protected her works over the years.
Honestly, intellectual property is very important in the life of every country. And for me, as an individual, as a creative person, as a musician, but for the copyright law, I don't know where I would have been, before, because in those days, anybody could pick somebody's song, yes, shoot some picture and put it on, but use of copyright law, we were protected. And today, even now that music is online, we still have protection to a large extent. So yes, it's very, very relevant. And this year's focus is on women in IP. And so for me, seeing the number of women to that turn out is very, very good because women are very creative.
She, however, admonished stakeholders to introduce intellectual property education to children at an early age.
We should add it to our curriculum right from class 1. I realize that we don't start teaching people about intellectual property when they are young. But we should start with the children because we are so blessed, especially those of us in Ghana. We are very creative. And the earlier we know how to protect those creativity, the better.
Doris Habada is the senior state attorney at the Copyright Office of Ghana.
Our objective is to educate mainly, actually, to let people know what IP is about, how it will benefit them, what their rights are, how those rights enable them to enhance what they do and do it better, and especially to make the money. That's what it's about. I would say overall that this year's IP Day celebration has been very, very exceptional.
On that note, we bring an end to the entertainment news segment. My name is Anita Ekufu. Up next is international news. Good evening.
Fighting is continuing in parts of Sudan despite a 72-hour ceasefire largely holding. The ceasefire, which began at midnight local time 22 GMT on Monday, is due to expire at the start of Friday. The conflict began on 15 April amid a power struggle between the leaders of Sudan's regular army and rival group, the Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Unprecedented numbers of malnourished children in need of life-saving treatment are being brought into feeding centers in the cities of Maiduguri in northeastern Nigeria, according to Medicine Sans Frontiers, MSF. Since the start of the year, nearly 1,300 children have been admitted to intensive care, the highest number ever recorded in Borno State for this period, the medical charity says. In January, around 75 children were admitted every week with severe malnourishment. By April, that figure had doubled, it said. MSF is warning of an impending catastrophe if urgent action is not taken.
Well, before we go, Godwin Asidibe's documentary, Married to Cocaine.
The much anticipated.
Yes, at 9 p.m. Do make a date.
I'll be watching that documentary.
Also will. And that's it for News 360. Thank you so much for your time. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Pakwisi Asari.
countdown to Ghana music's biggest night has begun, and you have the power to decide who wins what at the 24th Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. Push your favorite artists and songs to win on the big night by voting now. For Artist of the Year, text A to 1767. For Vodafone Song of the Year, text B to 1767. For all other categories, text C to 1767. Remember, SMS voting is applicable on Vodafone network only. You can also vote free of charge at www.GhanaMusicAwards.com. The 24th Vodafone Ghana Music Awards is a Charterhouse production supported by TV3, KPMG, Yango, and is proudly brought to you by Vodafone.